Just because tonight we're here answering questions and available doesn't mean that this is the only chance you have. You know, I'm here in San Ysidro with open office hours where you can come in at any time, at least once a month, and meet with me here in San Ysidro, so you don't have to go to downtown. But you can always come to downtown if you want to. It's not as fun as being down here, but you're welcome to always come. And give me a call, and if you need to talk about something more pressing, we can always arrange for that. But again, thank you very much for coming tonight, and I'll get started with the presentation. So first and foremost, I wanted to talk a little bit about the San Ysidro Library, which is a project that has been talked about for a long time in San Ysidro. And without rehashing everything, because you can always rehash the past, I wanted to tell you sort of where we're at. And we were really close to sort of having an agreement with the school district on the facility. Unfortunately, that fell through, so that sort of delayed us a little bit. But now we've identified a location, the corner of, right down the street here, on the corner of the vacant lot. And so we're in the project design phase. We're trying to see how we're going to make it fit and what it's going to look like. Of course, there will be community outreach opportunities for input on that facility. So far, this slide says we've got a $12 million, that's how much it's going to cost, $12 million. It says that we have $3 million set aside, but in reality, there's been some really recent actions that aren't captured there. So technically, yes, we have $3 million, but in terms of commitments and votes that we've taken on the council since I've been there, we actually have closer to about $9 million. Just Tuesday alone, we voted on bond proceeds from the redevelopment agency, which about 2.8 million of that is from San Ysidro and has been dedicated to the library. The state took the money away. We've been fighting them, a long story back and forth. But the short end of it is that we're going to go for the bond proceeds, which will increase that again by about $2.8 million. The bond that the city is out on, and we're caught in litigation, again, technicalities, but I assume that's going to be resolved real soon, adds another about $3 million, so that's why we're closer to the $9 million figure. So it puts us very, very close to having the full funding to make this happen. So we approved more lighting for Larson Field, which means that will be more park space available for the community. And that always makes me happy, since we have less park space in our communities than we have in other communities. The more we can keep them open for longer, the better it is for our young, and all families really, but particularly for the young people. So that's in construction now. It's a special project. Just Janet here? Oh, hey, how are you? That one of the community members from our own community has been working on for some time is coming to fruition. Tomorrow there will be a formal announcement about a $300,000 grant that the Wells Fargo Foundation is going to be giving so that we can move forward on this project in partnership with one of our community organizations, Casa Familiar. This is a tot lot right there on Park, between East and West Park, that hasn't been upgraded in I don't know how many years, but again, another improvement for San Ysidro. So when I came into office, there was people had said that this project was already funded and ready to go. We met often with principal at San Ysidro High School, but it wasn't ready to go and it wasn't fully funded, but I can tell you today that it is, and that's in part due to the efforts of the community. So we have a presentation that goes into detail as to where this is, when does it start, when does it get finished, by the engineer who is here, and we'll get into those details. But I wanted to say that, yes, all the money's already there. It took a long time. It shouldn't have taken this long, but we got it to happen, and now we're going to see this construction project go through. And it's not just a sidewalk. People have been saying, well, it's just a sidewalk, and why is it so expensive? Why is it going to take so long? It's much more than that, and you'll see what's going to happen with the design and the construction as to why it's so complicated. So this is some of the things that I mentioned. So not just the sidewalk, but Class 2 bike lanes, guardrails, fencing, stormwater facilities for the runoff, and street lighting. All right, so moving on to the port of entry. This is a project that I personally, maybe some of you in this room as well, have been working on for, I think now 9 years. And finally, I can say that, I mean, we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. I don't know if you've read the reports or if you witnessed it yourself, but the lanes have expanded at the port of entry. Phase 1 is almost completed. We've got a couple lanes, I think, that are still, that need to be finished. But this is basically what phase one is. It's the blue section. The lanes have been remodeled. There is double staffing, double booths is what they call it, at the lanes. And then, can you go to the pictures? The administration, what they call the head house, has been completed. If you cross, or even if you walk on Camino de la Plaza, you can see it. And so the modernization and the canopy has been completed. And there'll be a community celebration happening in the next few weeks, which I'm sure we'll all hear about, and we'll hear more about it from our CBP officers that are here today. But here's where the next phase is, which is the pedestrian facilities on the west side. This is new. This is something that we as a community were able to get from the federal government, to build a new pedestrian to walk across to Mexico and also to come back from Mexico on the west side by the mall, by the outlets, the shopping center. This is now at the point where there will be a public workshop for the community to participate in the dialogue there in November. So you'll be hearing about that if you signed up for me today, or if you're on any of the emails, the regular emails, you'll hear from us. And that's where the public, we can participate and try to influence what that's going to look like. But basically, this is what the concept is. The Mexico is on the right top corner over there. So you'd walk in from Mexico into that middle building. That's where you would get processed, and you walk. And this is where we are for phase. So phase 2 is funded. Phase 3 is funded. Excuse me. That's technicalities. The federal government is on the verge of approving all of the money for the rest of the projects, which would be the rerouting of the freeway. You might have seen this image. The freeway, before, when we went into Mexico, you went straight to Puerto Mexico. Now you make a really sharp turn. If you've been down there, it's very obvious. So what this phase would do is to sort of make it a little bit softer of a turn, increase the number of lanes, and connect it directly to enter into Mexico. Okay.